webinar, all attendees are in listen-only mode. Webinar is
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the folks who are joining us from different time zones all over the world. Thank you so much for being here today for our exciting retail webinar focusing on omni-channel integration. We truly appreciate your time and we hope you all are having a fantastic day till now. Today, we are excited to explore a dynamic topic which is driving retail innovation through omni-channel integration. It promises to be an engaging and insightful session, and we are thrilled to have such a great audience here with us. Let me begin by introducing myself and AI CoreSpot as a platform to all of you. So my name is Nitin Naveen, and I serve as the VP of Innovation and Strategy at AI CoreSpot. With nearly a couple of decades of experience working with a lot of consulting firms on different emerging technologies, I'm fortunate to have worked alongside global leaders, stakeholders, and some truly innovative projects till now. I have been joined today by my colleague Arvind, who is in the front, and we have Naveen in the backstage. A bigger round of applause to them for their dedication and the energy they have brought to organizing this event. A quick word about AI CoreSpot as a platform to all of you. It was founded around 5 years now. It serves as a knowledge hub for areas like AI, Gen AI, machine learning, robotics, IoT, and much more. Through our webinars, we aim to keep you updated on the latest technological advancements across various tech industries with fresh monthly themes, and we are gaining momentum month on month. Our vision is to become the leading global AI-driven community, a place where professionals like yourself can grow together and share the success. We are committed to delivering industry-backed webinars, hybrid events, in-person events, which is built upon incredible insights from distinguished industry leaders, subject matter experts, trusted partners who have been associated with us throughout the journey. In addition to events, we also curate some interesting content across different channels through blogs, videos, podcasts, newsletters, which makes it easy to stay informed about today's fast evolving tech landscape. For today's session, which is connecting every touch point for ultimate engagement in the retail industry, we would cover a wide range of topics through our esteemed speakers, which includes omni-channel integration, the challenges coming, the ways for customer engagement, future prospects, emerging innovations, and much more. We are confident that the insights, discussions, and ideas you will hear today will spark new thinking and drive the value. A special thanks to all our community partners for today. It includes some great companies. Catalyst Brands is there. We have Lowe's Company, and then we have InfoVision for their essential role in making this webinar possible. And of course, a heartfelt thanks to all our attendees who took time and came together to attend this webinar. Your presence is invaluable. Our platform is built to help you gather insights, connect with peers, and turn inspiration into the actions. So if you leave with some new ideas or make some strong connections after the webinar is over as well, we'll consider our job well done. So let me introduce our esteemed speakers for today now. We have first speaker who is Senthil, Vice President Technology at Catalyst Brands. Then we have our second speaker who is Anant, the Senior Director Product Management at Lowe's Company. And then we have Monica, who is Director Retail at InfoVision and serving as today's moderator as well. Just a brief disclaimer before we start our webinar. The views shared by other speakers are their personal ones and it does not necessarily represent the perspectives of their respective organizations. Thank you again for all of you for being here, and let's get started now. I hand it over to Monica to kick off this exciting panel discussion. Over to you, Monica.
Thank you, Nitin. I'm really excited for today's topic of driving retail innovation through omnichannel integration. I think everyone realizes or knows that omnichannel integration has come a long way. I think it started in the early days with just those stores, and then came the websites and then the catalog management, and they were all working in silos. I think it evolved. I think the retailers started, trying to see, connect these with multi-channel retail. But again, there was some kind of still a lack of cohesion. But in the last decade, I feel like there was a true sense of omnichannel experience, and I'm I'm sure we're going to go deeper into this. I really like the way, I don't know, there are two sides to the coin, but definitely the way there is a seamless connection between all of the customers' touch points, right? Whether I look at it in a mobile or on a website, or whether I look at it on in-store, or social media, all of these are connected. I feel like it follows me, or it follows the customer wherever they go. You can call it stalking, but it basically convinces you that you really need it eventually. But it's a great thing for retailers, for customer engagement, and I think that I should not delay further. Let's get started. I'm going to let our panelists introduce themselves. I'm going to let Anant go first. Anant, go ahead.
Hey team, thanks for having me here. I am a senior director of our product in Lowe's. Been here 6 years. I have been in retail since 2011 and worked across merchandising, pricing, promotions, digital, finance, tech. And my charter right now is to drive autonomous finance at Lowe's. I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you, Anant. I'm going to let Sendil. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Sure, Monica. Good morning, good evening. Senthil Jayaprakasam. I'm based out of Dallas, in Texas. I know the name Catalyst might be like, what is this company called? We never heard of Catalyst. So Catalyst is nothing but JCPenney and 5 more brands coming together. So I would just follow the, you might be aware of the brands, heard about it, shopped there. So JCPenney is, of course, biggest of the 6 brands under the umbrella of Catalyst. We also have Aeropostale, Brooks Brothers, Eddie Boyer, Nautica, and Lucky Brands. So these 6 together is called Catalyst Brands. And there's, of course, the vision of adding more brands to this family, right? So this entity was created probably, I think, less than 6 months back, and we are in the process of integrating all the systems and all that. So I've been with JCPenney 15 years. And again, like Anant, I started my career in 1998. And then I've been in retail for most of my career. In the 15 years in JCPenney, 10 years I've been on the digital side, on the digital engineering side. And right now, the areas that I'm responsible are all of store technology, both point of sale as well as all the back office applications across all brands. I also have wholesale. Wholesale is a huge business on the Spark. On the other side, JCPenney was not doing wholesale, but it's a huge business for all the other brands I talked about. So wholesale technology also rolls under me. And I also have pricing, customer care, payment. So when you talk about Omni, these are the things that are not there yet. You still have silos in pricing between retail and stores, promotions and things like that. But these are the areas that I'm responsible right now with the formation of Catalyst. Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sendil. Thank you, Anant. I'm really honored to be moderating this session. We all have a lot to learn, and I'm looking forward for you to share your perspectives and insights. I think you're all living this omnichannel integration and innovation right now. So without any delay, I'm going to go ahead with my first question to you, Sendil, and I will let Anant add to that. What does omnichannel integration mean to you? Like, what is that in the context of modern retail?
I would start everything from a customer. That's with the customer is the right and center of any of our business we do. Customer centric is our I would say a motto. So I would say from that perspective, giving a connected experience to the customer is really omnichannel, right? The connected experience could be in multiple facets, as you talked about, and different channels through which I can interact, right? Whether I use my phone or my app or my social media or my, even a web version of my mobile on the phone or my desktop version, doesn't matter. The connected experience, not just seeing in JCPenney on different channel, is not really omnichannel. It's do I feel connected? Does it matter which channel through which I interact? Do I feel like I'm still connected with the retailer? It's the same retailer that I've been interacting on the other channel. That connected experience is what I would say is omni. The underlying key there is of course customer data, which is where we all have a lot of silos in a lot of our organization, and then the inventory aspect of it, right? There's a lot of, we don't have this, I won't say we don't, each of us are in different journey of different stage of bringing the inventory together, single view of inventory across all channels. How do you effectively utilize the inventory? I would say from a there are a lot of facets, but two facets I would say is the customer connected experience for customer, and then how are we maximizing our inventory to give that speed, and also from a cost perspective, take care of a business. So both margin as well as speed to the customer is where inventory comes in, and the connected integrated fulfillment is the other facets I would say very critical for omni channel retailing.
Awesome. I'll just
Yeah.
extend my thoughts to what Senthil just talked about. Really, I mean, if you think about omnichannel, I mean, it has been around for a while, so it's not a new phenomenon that's taking shape. But the expectations out of what omnichannel really means has always been evolving. We at Lowe's, we are a 100-year-old brand. We had, a bunch of stores. At all times, right? We have about 1,800 stores, and we started our digital presence about 25 to 30 years back, right, when the internet was just starting up. And at that point in time, I think, when the customers used to shop, their expectations were very different. But as it has evolved, it has become paramount on how Lowe's shows up as a brand, irrespective of which channels the customer is shopping from. And how we have sort of elevated the expectation of the customer is by telling them that, hey, look, if you are coming to our store, we will make sure that we continue your journey online if you want to go there to Lowe's.com, and vice versa. So in a way that, there has always been a model for offline to online, but we also leverage online to offline really, really well. From a mission standpoint, like, why do we exist? And Lowe's, has this mission to solve problems and fulfill dreams for the home of our customers. And home improvement journeys are journeys in their true sense. They're not a point in time purchases. So for us, hence, omnichannel becomes very relevant because the customer might be starting, on their couch at their home in the night, trying to buy an appliance. Then the next day they want to see, hey, can I actually touch and feel the product? Can I actually go and talk to an associate in the store so their expertise comes to the forefront? And before they make a decision, they want to go back and forth with their spouse and whatnot, and come back home, and then eventually or place an order online, which is actually getting again fulfilled from either our store or one of our warehouses. So if you see, like Senthil was talking about how it is also connected, it all comes together really as a single unified experience for the end customer.
Thank you, Anand. I think both of you reflected the customer centricity, and I think all of these are made with the customer at the core. And I've taken some notes here, but I think the connected experience and keeping the end customers' comfort and engagement has been a big focus. So that's good to know. Why do you think, and this for you, Anand, is why do you think it's critical for retailers to do this, to innovate on omni-channel strategies? What is the benefit you think, both from your experience in your current and previous organizations?
I'll probably build on my previous answer here, right? That customers don't shop channels anymore. They shop confidence, they shop trust. And in the example that I was talking about from appliances, really, if you think about it, like any home improvement project that all of us do, it is not a point in time purchase that you're making. It is really a journey. And that if you think about the journey, it has offline and online channels both amalgamated into one. At Lowe's, I mean, our CIO Samantha has talked about this journey from inspiration to installation. And what it really means in the context of home improvement is you start with doing you start with getting inspiration for a certain home improvement project, like a bathroom remodel, as an example. And the bathroom remodel, now think of it like it constitutes flooring tiles, it constitutes, your shower, your bath, your toilets, etc., your paint. And in order to bring that to life, you really want to first inspire the customer on how, they should be thinking about it. Then you want to help them discover the right products, discover the right strategy for them to execute the project, eventually making purchase decisions, and really like getting it installed or installing it themselves, in which case they need a lot of expertise on how to go about it. So at Lowe's, I think we look at the end-to-end journey as an inspiration to installation journey on building that customer confidence and trust, and we always have their back, right? If they're stuck, if they need help, we always have their back. That's how we think about omni-channel integration at Lowe's.
Thank you. Senthil, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's going to sound like we're repeating the same, but customer loyalty, I would say, is very fragile, right? The affinity to a brand, I can buy just an example. I can buy this suit in 5, 6 different stores or different brands. Why do I go to JCPenney, right? Or why do I go to Brooks Brother? I think that loyalty, building the loyalty, is very critical, and omni-channel plays a very critical role for me to feel like I'm again back to I'm shopping a brand, not the channel. I'm shopping retail. I'm shopping the experience. I'm getting the experience I need, and I cannot give that experience if I'm in silos with my customer data, if I'm silos in which I'm managing my inventory. So you need to bring that customer loyalty in the right and center, and that's the only way you can retain a customer. Customer acquisition is hard, as you know. Customer retention is even more harder. And once I have a bad experience, I'm done with brands. I personally have gone through where I feel like I got the not so great experience. I don't want to go to the store back again, right? Losing a customer means not losing one customer. As you know, we're losing multiple customers. So I think keeping the loyalty is very fragile, and customers' expectation, as Anand said, has changed. They want not just I want to go buy something. They want experience, especially JCPenney and the Catalyst brands. Fashion is the core of our business, right? Affordable fashion. So they want that experience, the value, and the fashion. So for that, we give them that experience, and the only way I can give them experience, a personalized recommendation on their size, their fit, their color choice, all that can only happen if I have integrated customer data. It doesn't matter through which channel I interact. So I think I would say customer loyalty is the core. If I do not get on this journey and bring that experience to customer, I think we will lose customers, right? And I think there are brands that have lost the customer. There are a lot of companies we can reflect back on where that loyalty was not built, and that is where I think omni-channel is very, very critical. Again, technology plays a significant role. You can all imagine unifying the data, like bringing the customer data as a foundation. That's where technology comes in to help with. But and any retailer who does not think about omni-channel is already gone. They're not in the industry. They're like dead, right? Who have done it to some extent, they're surviving, but there are some who have taken really to a next level, and each of us are on our journey to get there. And you have enough data to prove customers will switch. I think there is a data about 73% of brands customers are ready to switch brands. They're not tied to the brand. They can go buy anywhere they want, right? So how do we bring that loyalty? I think that's where Omni really plays a key role.
Yeah. So customer loyalty, so the benefit is definitely customer engagement and how we can retain that customer, right, over time. And I feel like that's what retailers are looking at, and I know many have started the journey. But now is a good segue. You talked about technology and using the data for unifying the customer thing. So, based on your experience, driving these large-scale omnichannel transformations in retail, what do you think? What are the pieces? What are the impactful ways technology is working on this? With customer engagement and I don't know, operational efficiency, if you can add that. Anand, you want to go first?
Sure. So at the highest level, I think it's important to understand how retail really works, right? I mean, at the highest level, we do 3 things. We buy stuff, we move it around, and we sell stuff. And at the end of the day, you always want to keep the customer experience and the friction that whatever how we show up as is causing. So there is only one goal in retail, if I would oversimplify it: kill any friction that comes anywhere. And the goal of being a successful omni-channel retailer or a player in the industry is not different at all, right? You want to always focus on how do you I mean, I come from a product management background, and the way I think about my job is this: how do I always be dissatisfied with the status quo? So when my team presents to me any ideas or any thoughts that they have, we'll talk about AI in a bit, but all this is great. But then the next question is, what next? How do we elevate? How do we go 5x, 10x from here? And that's what it is all about, because we have to realize that customers always have a choice, and we better meet them where they desire to be met how they desire to be met at all times.
Yeah. Dissatisfied with the status quo. I like that. I feel like that keeps you challenging to think, ahead of how to meet the client. I was hoping to hear a little more on the technology components, from a CRM perspective, ERP perspective, and all that. But if you can share that, and then and maybe let Sendil go at it first,
Yep.
and then.
Yeah, I think Anand defines it. I go execute it, right? I think that's what product does, and we are right, waiting to go get it done. So that's my logo to my team is get it done, get the shit done. We say sometimes get it done, because ideas are great as well. Execution is very critical, right? Because a lot of ideas doesn't get us value because of the execution mishap. So I think back to what I touched upon customer data. You key core and central of anything that we are thinking about customer. We connect to customer data. So where technology comes in is building that foundation. Right? So we call it CDP, we call it customer 360. There are different terms, but end of the day, you're bringing all this siloed customer data into one single platform, so I can have a single view of customer. Like even just talking just within just JCPenney, we have 6 brands, but just JCPenney by itself, we have different line of business within JCPenney. I don't know how many of you shop there. We have portrait, we have optical, right? So we have the main apparel, we have beauty. So there are different segment jewelry. So different segments of customers, and we collect customer data in different touch points. And even that single view of a customer data was a challenge for a long time because these are I have a jewelry list of customers, I have an optical customer, I have a portrait customers. So how do you bring that? Now I have 6 brands. Now we're looking at how do we bring all the customer of the 6 brands together so we can do a lot of cross-functional shopping, marketing, right? Add more value to the customer and more value to the business. So again, I'll go back to building the foundation for customer data. Single view of customer data is key, and that's where technology comes in to help it. So once you have that foundation, all the experience we talked about, providing the personalized experience to customers, whether you use AI or even you use a basic machine learning model to provide, without data, neither one is going to work. And because it's not just giving me a recommendation, giving me a recommendation that makes sense for me, where I click and then I go purchase. Because a lot of as you went through, when you talked about, when you start shopping a product, you start seeing one product, you click on it, you see 5 products that are being recommended, right? A lot of times you feel like, why am I, I was even related? They're throwing you some products just for the sake of showing product recommendations. But with some retailers, you would see the brands, the sizes, or the color that you like. It shows exactly what you want, what you are interested in. That is driven out of the customer data, not just on one channel. Irrespective of how I interacted, all my transactional behaviors, all my clickstream behaviors, these are things that are coming into funnel. Say, okay, when I come back again, doesn't matter whether I go into a store, pick up my phone on my native app or my web view of the application, I'm seeing the similar recommendation because that's what I'm interested in. I'm affiliated to a particular brand that I love. That's what I would like to see, right? So that is the core for that is customer data, and that's technology plays a critical role when breaking the silos between business. As Anand said, every company, ecom digital started as its own sister organization. Like they were running their own business, they were their own technology team. Even the digital for some organization doesn't even report to the CIO because it was directly under the digital organization. That silos is broken now for most part. So it's a journey from where we were to say, you know what, everything is one organization, it's one customer. The P&L might be different for store leader versus e-com leader, but end of the day, it is the customer that we're interacting with. So how do you bring that view? I think that's where we come in. And then technology, you talked about mobile. I think mobile app has picked up. A lot of brands can give a lot of native experience on your mobile app. I would say, for example, if I go into a store today for JCPenney, I can scan an item and see the price of the item in the store, right? Sometimes the prices are not exactly accurate what's displayed. We have all gone through it. Or I don't want to do a math. What is 30% off means or 20% off means? Or if there's a coupon in the store, I don't even know till I go to the register, right? I look at $50 and say, oh, this is too much for me, but there may be a 20% off coupon or a 50% off coupon. We don't even know that. So one of the things we piloted is in the app, there is a store tab or store mode. You can go and say, I scan the item. It tells you price after coupon. So even though it says 50, now it's $30 actually because there's a 20% off or $20 off. So I'm going to purchase instead of abandoning and walking out. So for converting the customer, even the store. Now, a mobile app is being used for an in-store conversion. So that's the Omni you're talking about, right? How can technology give you that tools to the customer to drive conversion, thereby driving loyalty? And I come back to the same brand. because of the value I get and the experience I go through. And there's a lot of technology can do. I'm kind of limiting to the time, but I think technology is the enabler. Doesn't matter which industry you go, as you can see, technology is the enabler. It's not, before it used to be, to some extent, I said, Anand tells me I go do it. But more from order taker, the technology is equally on the table, talking about what technology can bring to the table, right? Not just asking our business partners, what can you do? We are also coming back and saying, if I build this, this is what you can provide the customer with the value of the experience. So I think dynamics changed now, where technology is really driving a lot of this conversation. And even though it's a retail organization, technology is driving a lot of this conversation.
If I were to
Yes.
just, if I were to just build on what my friend Senthil really talked about here, right? I mean, one thing I would underscore is technology is the enabler. We often start by thinking about technology as the problem we need to solve. Reality is, problem is not technology. Technology is the solve of that problem, right? Many companies strip themselves by thinking it the other way around. So that's really important to address. Now, you know what uh, uh, Senthil was really talking about. If you think about it very broadly, there are two aspects. There is a customer aspect, and there is a vendor or our internal associate aspect. Within all of it, at the end of the day, a unified layer or orchestration of all the core retail data, item, pricing, promotions, customer, unifying all of that is what true omnichannel enabler in technology really is. At Lowe's, we call it information superhighway. We have a lot of different types of customers who shop with us, but tapping into the same construct of, let's say, pricing, I think, which is pricing and promo, for example, is a big problem in retail in terms of how do you localize prices, how do you target promotions to certain segment of customers. And I have been in that space for 10 plus years looking at pricing promotion specifically. And what I'll tell you is this, a lot of the times we trip because we do not have the clarity on how do you connect the underlying information architecture to the experience that the customer sees, and which introduces friction when the customers come to shop with our retailer. So like Senthil was talking about, if you do not have clear signages as an example, and if the customer is going to the POS, the cash register, to understand what the real price and promo are on that product, that creates a sense of friction. Now, friction could be good or bad. If there was a promo going on a product I did not know and took it to the POS, it's a very good friction to me. But the challenge there is the retailer has lost money on the table because I was willing to pay $10 for something which you charge me $8 now, right? So you lost that $2 in margin. However, if you reverse that, and instead of $10, I had to pay $12 because the signage didn't show up, that will lead to a very bad friction. In some cases, lost sales too. So the retailers have to be very, very careful about how they show up and how they connect the experience to their information architecture in the backend. Some examples that I will share with you guys is, point in time example, right? I mean, we talked about AI a bit. We have been doing AI for years. And I know that, when ChatGPT came out in 22, it made it really sexy and cool to be on the bandwagon for AI. But reality is, AI has been around for a really long time, right? Our CIO Simanthini would tell you that, we have 50 plus AI models deployed at scale, solving real problems at every step of the way in the retail ecosystem, right? All the way from thinking about demand forecasting to what are the right products to assort, to the localization of those products in our store, to the personalization aspects we talked about. We use a bunch of AI models that work, hand in glove to paint that experience. And the other essence that is important to understand is working backwards from the customer back to your, technology architecture versus the other way around. Because otherwise, think of it like this: if these AI models are not talking as a single orchestra, a bad orchestra could sound really, really bad from a customer experience standpoint. So you better be making sure that there's a conductor who is conducting the orchestra really well.
Yeah. No, thank you. That was really insightful. Orchestration among the different. Yeah, I mean, I'm taking notes, but it's great. I think that both Lowe's and Catalyst have made great strides in this, and we have a lot to learn. And this is also, I think you touched upon the example, and I really that was going to be my next question. Can you give me an example of a successful omni-channel integration? I feel like that you have implemented or that you have seen that you'd like to share with the audience here today.
Absolutely. So I'll share 2 or 3 examples, right? I mean, to bring some of the points home and make it real. First is, we recently launched our AI chatbot. We call it Milo for our customers. So if you go to Lowe's.com as an example, you can launch a Milo and you can start to ask questions. In conjunction to that, for our store associates, we have a Milo companion app. And let me tell you why it is so relevant, especially in the context of home improvement industry at Lowe's. Go back to my previous example where I was talking about a bathroom remodel. Now, we as homeowners, we are not doing these remodels every now and then, right? It's probably one in a 5 to 10 years thing that you are going to undertake. So how you go about these type of challenges from a customer standpoint is very, very paramount to address, because it scares a lot of the customers away as to how should they be going about these projects, right? From an associate standpoint in the store, think of it like this, that we sell a lot of different types of products, be it, all the way from, hardware, PVC pipes, lumber, to, some home goods like, appliances, flooring, paint, and so on and so forth. Now, the associates typically build an expertise over a period of time in a certain department or a certain area of the store. But everybody knows in retail, there's a lot of rotation, high attrition in stores typically. So one of the real problems for us to solve was, how do I make every associate a super associate in the store? So, the mantra that we operate in our Lowe's store is always take care of the customer first. And when customer comes to you, you better have good answers on how you're going to help them, right? In order to make this vision real, introducing a Milo companion app, which has knowledge of all of our Lowe's database, knowledge base over years, and experience coming from all of our associates. Every associate now is a super associate in the store. That's one very, very good example of how AI is, solving real problems for real customers in stores. I'll give you one more complementary example to that, because before even chatbots became really cool in the industry, we have always been thinking about guided selling as an experience. And what guided selling really means is, how do I guide the customer to make the sale for any project? When I was in the digital team, we used to go to the stores very often and understand and what type of questions the customers are coming and asking in the stores to our associates. And why that was important for us was to really take that experience and paint our online experience in a way that we are able to connect the two really well, right? One example there is this. One of the innovations that we brought to our appliance journey online is a good, better, best strategy. And what it really means is this: when you're in a store, when you're buying a refrigerator, let's say a Bosch 3000 refrigerator, the associate is always trying to upsell you and say, hey, you know what, for $400, you can also get this, refrigerator, being a really smart Wi-Fi enabled refrigerator. For $600, I'll also throw in the, warranty plans, etc., into it, and so on and so forth. We never had that kind of an experience online, because online has always been about, click and purchase. So how do you now paint an experience online wherein you're able to replicate a similar behavior without causing any customer friction? So without causing more clicks, more delays in the customer, because at the end of the day, online KPIs are always tuned towards conversion. And how you get conversion is least clicks to checkout. That's why Amazon came up with this one-click checkout innovation and so on and so forth. We don't personally believe in that, right? because we want to make sure that the customer is getting the right product, and we are taking them through a journey. That's why I always go back to, how Lowe's operates and how we bring in a lot of expertise and context in the shopping journey is baked in itself. So that when the customer is making a choice, they make the right choice. And why that is important, my last comment here is this. Going back to Senthil's example that you can go to a JCPenney and buy a suit. See, buyer's remorse is real. I can buy a suit, come back home. If I don't like it, I can buy one more suit. But in a bathroom remodel, once I've installed the tiles, I better not go back and install the tiles one more time again tomorrow. So visualization capabilities, AR capabilities, they become very, very real for us about how do we do it once, do it right.
Thank you, Anand. I mean, that was great examples, and you showed both sides, complementing examples. And I feel you also touched a little on the challenges, but I will let Senthil give his, view on an example of his before I get to the challenges. Which is, Senthil, I think you're.
Okay.
Example of omnichannel not being able to pick the right context.
So I would go back to, I think, the whole integrated fulfillment, right? Omni fulfillment. I would say that is one of the program. I know it's not new, as I think a lot of us are already in a very mature stage there, but that was one of the program that when we started talking about can we ship from a store, like it was a big deal, like because it's, again, as I said, store has been in its own world. Digital has been in world, inventory has been, not planned as an enterprise, right? So these were in silos. Can you even ship from a store? So that pilot, when we started this long back, it was like probably 16 or 2017 when we started. I was like the architect at that point in time, building that as a prototype to a couple of stores. Of course, we didn't imagine where this is going to take us, but we started that even before anything around COVID started. Before even started, customer trust expectations started changing. Now, one of the reasons I go to Amazon most of the time is I can get the product the day I need it. Right? I need it today, I can need it tomorrow, I can get it as fast as I can. That's a pretty critical capability that has become a table stake now. Customers' expectation, again, back to the point which has changed. They are not ready to wait for 10 days or 7 business days or 5 business days to get a merchandise, especially again, what we are selling, apparel, beauty, right? These are the products customer again, back to another appliance I can order for, it takes 2 weeks to come in. I'm fine, I'm not in a hurry, right? I'm not closing in the house and I can wait for it. Versus this is like an event coming up, right? Or a special event suddenly popped up, I need to dress up well, I need to go to the store. So the speed of getting the merchandise is very critical. When we were in distribution center, we have 3 distribution center, getting the merchandise sometimes from East Coast to West Coast, how many days it takes. So I think when we launched the ship from store as a pilot, I think that we are mature from where we started to curbside pickup even before even COVID hit us. We were already ran, I would say, 50 some stores with curbside pickup experience. So you place an order in the next few hours, 2 hours, I think is SLA, you can get the merchandise. You can go to the store, don't even go into the store, on the curb, you get delivered. So I would say that's been a very successful program where our ship from store model started as saving the sale. Initially, it was more like this: okay, I don't have this merchandise in my DCs, it's in the store. Can I save the sale so that I don't lose the sale and lose a customer? So that's how it started, from a save the sale model. That has significantly changed. Now it's not about just saving the sale; it's about margin. It is all about customer experience, the speed of delivery. So it's completely changed from just let me save a sale versus how do we provide that experience to customer to get the merchandise to the customer sooner. At the same time, I also need to make sure we are all running this as a business, right? Profit, it's not a non-profit. So how do I make sure margin, I'm not, touching too much on the margin to lose money on this experience? We need, it has to be a balance of giving the best experience, but at the same time driving value to the business. That's where the fulfillment has also changed. Now, before blindly saying, okay, I'm going to ship it from the store, we have a lot of logic now on models built in to say, which is the right store to ship it from, right? This item is available in 5 stores. Which is the right store? What is the sell-through of this item in the store, right? Will this item go to markdown eventually in the store? So I want to use that inventory to go fulfill so that I'm avoiding markdown versus shipping something very close to the customer. Both can get to the customer in 2 days. So all those different facets of looking at what's the best optimal node to fulfill from. has been a great success for us, achieving both purpose of getting to customer faster, at the same time utilizing the inventory in the right way. There is a more place of opportunity which you continue to grow is the planning part of it. I think Anand touched about planning inventory, planning and allocating the inventory is very critical. I'm talking about the fulfillment. Once you get the order, where do we fulfill, right? Okay, we do a great job now figuring out what the ideal node or what's the best node to fulfill. But we also have to think about the upfront process as I purchase the inventory, as I plan and allocate. Where is the demand? So demand forecasting, demand planning. This is another critical place where I think AI, we are leveraging AI now. So we are maturing in that phase as well. Otherwise, it's more of you have done an efficiency on one side, but the other side is still weak, and you're shipping from item from one zone to the other zone. If you plan it right, your number of zones you're going to hop is going to be minimal, and that helps with the cost of the shipping as well. So I would say that's the best example I can think is the whole ship from store experience along with buy online and pick up in store as well. I would say one that I not in JCPenney or Catalyst that I really like. I shop at Sam's. I don't know many of you shop. I think the self checkout and Sam's on your app is the best I've seen. Like I just go in, purchase the item. As I drop in the cart, I scan it. I walk out checking out. I'm not seeing associate. I'm not standing in a self checkout queue. And before they used to even like check your receipt, right? They'll scan your receipt and scan some of the items to see is there an item that you missed to scan. Now that is also you don't need to go as you go through a tunnel. It does it for you. You just walk out. So the fastest way to go shop for me, like especially on the weekend, is Sam's. That experience, I really like it. I know that model might not apply for a lot of businesses, like I would say for JCPenney with you have security tags, you have wing tags, and there are a lot of other things I cannot just scan and walk it out. But that experience for that business is really great experience. Like I'm using completely digital app in the store to finish my transaction in the store without talking to a store associate or interacting with anybody, right? So that's a good example, I would say, outside Catalyst.
Thing I would state before we move forward is I would urge Senthil to shop our appliance experience too, because unlike he stated 2 weeks, we have a brand promise of 2 days delivery of appliances any zip code in the
Awesome.
US, which is the fastest for any appliance retailer in the US.
Okay. So Anand, I gotta buy a home now just for this, and then I will come and shop for appliance.
Love it.
The real estate is going down, so I think it's the best time to buy a home and shop appliance.
No, but great examples. Thank you. I feel like, the fulfillment side, the integrated fulfillment, it's an insight which I was not aware. I did, it instigated another question on the inventory side. How do you make sure that there is inventory visibility across multiple touch points? Since you touched upon that a little bit, I don't know if Senthil, you can go take a go at it.
I think it's similar to how we talked about the customer data platform of being connected, bringing the customer data that are siloed into a single platform. I think similarly inventory, right? A lot of areas you have a system that is managing the inventory for the stores. There are systems that are managing inventory for DCs or DLCs, you call it. How do you bring them into a single platform to have the view of the inventory? So we call it omni inventory view or single view of inventory, right? So today, as an example, like if I transact something in the store, right, in a real time, if I go purchase this suit in JCPenney Brooks, quickly e-com will get to know, right, that the omni platform, inventory platform will get to know that this SKU has been sold in the store, this unit in a near real time. So if I'm exposing this to be online, to be bought from a store or fulfilled from a store, as soon as I sell one in a store, I get to know, I decrement the inventory. So we have a near real-time inventory platform that has the visibility at any point in time. I can look at and say, what is my inventory in the network? Not what's in a particular, I get granular as well. In which node or which store, what is the quantity, but I also get the overall network. Sometimes we want to take the order as well and ship it because we want to take care of customer. Doesn't matter where it's getting shipped from. So that single platform, having the view of inventory across is the key. And we have solutions that we have built which gives you that view that I use online to, as I take the order through, I give you exact data. We call it ATP or available to promise, telling, hey, this ships in 2 days, right? Amazon is a great experience. This ship in 4 hours, right? You get it tomorrow or midnight. That promise date from what it used to be, like what it used to be like 5 to 7 business days, a range, because we were not even confident on a day. So we give a range. 7 to 9, 5 to 7. Now we can get to we can get this by this date, right? to do that, we need to know exactly where the inventory is going to be fulfilled, where the order is going to be fulfilled from. That's where the single view of inventory comes in. So that's kind of how we are able to provide more accurate promise data to customer, which helps with purchase intent and conversion. Because the moment I see 5 days, 7 days, 9 days, I'm bailing, I'm bouncing off the product page. But if I see something I can get in like 2 days, I'm like, my intent is increasing and my conversion is also going up. And we have data proving that as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. Anant, do you want to add to it before I get into the next question?
Yeah, sure. I mean, whatever Senthil talked about is right. I think I'll just add two more thoughts to it, right? One is um, build versus buy, right? When anything that we feel that there is a competitive advantage to be had in terms of technology, we build it in-house ourselves at Lowe's. Inventory and having a single view of inventory is one such thing. And, we have a system, we call it customer promise. And what it helps us do is it helps us tell that what is the promise that I can make to the customer for delivery of their product or pickup in store of their product. And I better not be wrong, because it is called a customer promise, right? So we have to live up to our values of delivering for customers first. The second thing that I would add to that is, I mean, from an inventory standpoint, the expectation of the customers have been evolving rapidly. 10 years, 20 years back, online channels delivering goods to your home in 3 to 4 days was actually really good, right? Now my daughter's expectation is, when I'm ordering a gift for her, her expectation is 3 to 4 hours. So it would literally take me longer to go and go to a shopping mall or some store, make the selection, bring it home, versus just ordering it online and getting it delivered to me. And this is where a variety of business models come into the picture, right? When you think about how do you charge for speed? So I think one of the initiatives we drive is charge for speed, charge for convenience. But reality is this: the customer expectations are changing to a point wherein, hey, I want this and I want it now. And how are you going to deliver it at the lowest cost to the retailer, highest quality product with the best experience in the industry? And I think that is the equation that every retailer is trying to balance in the industry. We at Lowe's have the benefit of having a bunch of stores across the country, 1,800 stores. Majority of zip codes has a Lowe's store within 10 miles or so. And that allows us to deliver the products not just from our warehouses, but from our stores too. So we always think about elevating the game in the industry about how do we come up with new business models. For example, I think on the loyalty front, we are experimenting with a business model, and we're saying, hey, can we have a subscription model of sorts when the customer pays us $100? We not just deliver the products to them, but we go and install it for them as well, right, within that amount. So those are the type of innovations that are coming, and I'm only excited about how this continues to evolve from here. I know that in models, when I looking at some startups that I was advocating for in India, they have been talking about how do they know what the customer wants before the customer has actually bought those products. So it's an interesting dynamic if you think about it, where the industry is going in that way.
Yes. Now, we will come to that about where industry is going in a while. But yeah, what are the biggest challenges that you have found while integrating these different multiple channels, online and offline? And what advice would you give to retailers who are beginning their omnichannel or in the process, struggling with legacy, whether we should keep the legacy, modernize it, build it? I don't know. What is your advice? As both questions I'm combining. Challenges.
Yeah, I think we have talked about it plentiful now, that customer centricity is paramount. Customer is at the center of whatever you do. Customer friction and pain points are real. Their expectations are changing by the day. So if we start from there and go back to the technology as an enabler and the solve for it, go back to your fundamental frameworks of people, process, technology, and data. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that for everything that you do in an organization, there's a clear mandate on who's doing it. Because let me tell you, in large organizations, one of the challenges, multiple teams are doing the similar type of things. Perhaps their goals are not exactly the same, but close enough, which causes, different incentives, right? So it is a mandate for organizations to have a clear strategy from a people front first. Second comes the process. No technology will solve for a bad process. Whether it be AI or not, it won't, right? So second is always think about the process. Third comes the technology. Now that you know exactly what the mandate is, exactly how you're going to run the process. How does the technology come in, help you at scale? Again, going back to Lowe's example, 1,800 stores. We need scale. We need to solve every problem at scale. But when we start with any initiative, we are not thinking about 1,800 stores all in one shot, because we have stores in Alaska and Hawaii as well. And the problems that they have is very different from how we have the problems in the mainland. So the way we think about it is we said, okay, can we think about one store, one set of customers coming to that store? Then you think 10, then you think 100, then you think all 1,800. So that's the model. And finally, data being the single source of truth. Again, many large organizations strip themselves by having local databases, access, Alteryx within their teams, but having a clear data strategy about centralization, right? We talked about large, big data. How are you making sure that your big data has all of your historicals? At the same time, you have transactional applications that are pulling data in near real time, that are able to do all the CRUD operations, right? And making it to a point wherein it is always consistent, highly available, scalable. That's the way I would think about it for any organization which is coming to the advent of omnichannel.
No, thank you, Anand. Senthil, do you want to have your thoughts on this?
I think
Challenges
another
and-
one, right? We start with the customer, as you said, right? I don't think we should start even with the channel. Like, what does my customer want and need, right? Look at the customer again, and define your strategy and a goal. I think back to what Anand said. Sometimes you do not have the strategy or a goal defined at the organization level. What are we trying to achieve? I'm talking this more from anybody wanting to start with omnichannel journey. Like, you have to start with the goal of what are we trying to achieve? Because a lot of times I'm a technology guy as well. A lot of times you also run behind shining coins without really having a clear strategy on what is this trying to achieve for business, right? What is the goal here? What is the problem we're trying to solve? Or what is the value? Maybe it's not a problem, it's something futuristic. It's not even a problem today, but could be a potential problem. So I want to get ahead of it. So I would say start with the goal, clear goal of what are we trying to achieve. And then again, start small. Again, we want to scale, but if you start scale, then you're not going to get anywhere. So start small. I think those days are gone where I take 6 months to define a requirement, 6 months to do a design, and 2 years to deliver. It's all gone. Nobody has patience. Customers' expectations is already changing every hour, right? And nobody has patience to even build because strategy has already changed. Technology is evolving so fast that there's nothing I can deliver for a year. So how do I incrementally start delivering? Right? Again, goes back a little bit on the process side, the methodology that we follow. You got to be able to build smaller chunks, put it quickly in front of customers, test and learn. Even if you fail fast. I think the whole methodologies also should be very, very agile and very flexible and nimble. So you're not waiting for months to see the effect of what you're building, right? So incremental delivery is going to be key. Defining a strategy and goal is the key. Silos is the main thing. I think most of us most of the organizations struggling, still not achieving what we want is really that silos is in the organization between business units, silos in data, and then silos in people as well. As when we define and launch something again to our customers, to our associates, how do we make sure they're utilizing it to drive the value that we are defining? I think that's where silos comes in. Oh, we launched this, and then nobody goes back. I'm sure Amit and team does it. Like, not every product team goes back and looks at, did it drive the value that we said we're going to drive it, right? And why is it not driving? What do you do to take to the next level, like, right? So I think that is the part as well I've seen in an organization where you launch it, and then you are on to the next one, which is good. We need to keep moving forward, but also you have to start looking at what you've delivered. How can you deliver or drive more value out of what you've delivered as well? So otherwise, you're not getting the benefit of all the initiative we just talked about. So I think breaking the silos in the system, data. I think we're going to keep talking about it, because without data, there is nothing we can do. Whether it's a customer data or integrated inventory data, right? Or even the customer behavior analytics that we get from different partners as well. Like, how do you bring them all together? That silos is what we need to break to build the foundation. I know sometimes we take it seems huge, right? Like building a customer foundation is not easy. It's easy to say, but it's very hard to build. But again, that's where you have to think, how do I start building incrementally that platform? I can't just take, again, a year to deliver or 2 years to deliver a customer data platform. My marketing business or my leaders are not going to be happy if I take 2 years to deliver it. So how can I start taking some of the smaller use cases, start building those incremental foundation, start showing them a value to a point where now you're build the momentum with your business as well. They're seeing that you're delivering. Then you get a lot more funding as well. I think one of the challenges we all go through is funding, right? You have to really show the value before I get any funding for the matter. But a lot of times I can get a blank check of give me 10 million, I'll deliver the CDP in 2 years and get it. Right? I got to be able to show the value. So how do you define those incremental value and start building small, and then you scale as you build it? Architecture is very critical, as you all know, because sometimes when we do a POC, or we call it pilot, we do something very, very scrappy, which is good. Sometimes it's sloppy as well, where I can really use that to scale. I can use it to incrementally build. You're just building one off and throwing. So how do you build? As you build a foundation that is incremental. You can continue to build on it, versus I'm doing just for a quarter and throw it, and then I have to start over when I talk about scale, right? So how do we architect your systems in a way is also going to be very critical.
Oh, that's a lot of great advice there. I'm sure that our audience is benefiting from this. I'm going to go quickly to the futuristic, towards the end, because I definitely want to give some time for the questions we've received on the chat. But looking ahead, there are so much innovations, right? We have augmented reality, virtual, or AI-enabled innovation. We have this metaverse shopping right now, where I can shop in 3D. So, what do you think, is shaping the future of retail? What do you see in the next 3 to 5 years in terms of retail innovation? Let's go ahead.
Who's going? Okay, I'll go, and then can join, right? So I think, again, there is a lot, as we said, in technology evolving so much. I think whatever I'm saying is going to probably change tomorrow, when or a year from now. So 3 to 5 years is even like a big time. Now we are talking about in months and quarter, whatnot. I would say one of the things that I've seen really picked up before. Social media was more of an influencing tool, I would say, to drive sales. But now it is transformed into, you can actually shop through the social media. So it's no more just a content to just see and enjoy and get inspired by, but actually use that to shop. So social commerce, social shopping, I think is really picking up. JCPenney started. We are in the journey, but we are not there anywhere where we need to be. But it is one of the areas that I see it's growing significantly. Again, you will hear this term, agentic AI, conversational commerce, unified commerce. I would say unified commerce is where I think the industry is going to go, but conversational commerce is going to be built on top of it. Those are like, again, I would say some are matured, some are like, more of the shining coin at this point in time, but I think it's going to evolve as we are talking through. And again, everything needs to be fueled by unifying the underlying data, customer data. It goes back again there, right? So that's going to be there. All the things we talked about, fulfillment, enterprise fulfillment, integrated fulfillment, all that is still going to continue, but they are already there and kind of mature, but it's going to get to the next level there. I'm really thinking more on the AI-driven real-time personalization, like, to a customer, can I do a one-on-one to the customer specific personalization versus a social, we used to have a segmentation and a wider segmentation versus, okay, how do I get to this one-on-one level with the customer where I can give more personalized recommendation? Also personalized promotions and pricing. And that's one area, again, I don't think, like, even I would say from our JCPenney side, our pricing is not personalized in any way. Our promotion is not. Right now, it is like, there is a channel specific. Sometimes, you get certain discounts in the digital channels, certain in stores. But I think, how do we get to a point of where my price can be dynamic? Right? It could be based on the customer, based on the event or based on a day, based on how I'm selling my merchandise, how my price can dynamically change. So I'm again effectively utilizing inventory. When I have a lot of merchandise sitting in a particular SKU in a store, how can system identify that and actually change the price where I can sell more and I can throw a promotion in real time to a customer? I think those are the things we'll take to the next level. That even though we talked omni pricing and all that, I think that's one area I feel like we are not there yet. And all this AI components that you're talking will help us to get there. I'll stop there with the time and then go ahead.
Anand.
Uh, I think thanks for that. And I think it's a very interesting question, right? Because I feel like answering this question is easier in generalities as opposed to specifics. I think Senthil talked about a bunch about generative AI, agentic AI, AR, VR, Omniverse. This is all real. And, a lot of that we currently employ here at Lowe's in tech, because I think our industry is such that we want to have the customer see how their job is going to look like before it's actually done. So it's very real. But if you talk about in generalities, 3 to 5 years, or perhaps a bit longer than that, my view is that retail as an industry is also very harmonious in nature. It actually syncs together, right? And going back to my framework that I was talking about, buy, move, sell, right? There is a certain demand that comes from the customer or the industry. There is a certain fad going on. Retailers want to capture that fad, so they order products in regards to that, or the seasonally relevant, locally relevant products, sort them, get it as fast as possible to their stores or to their online channels, make it available for the customers to order and get it there, right? In my view, you would be able to get to a point wherein entire retail operations can be run by a ensemble of AI models working together. That's how I view it. The way we have been solving for these problems is we have been solving for a particular use case in a particular area and deploying models for those. But eventually, it's like how you think about agents versus the super agents. Agents solve for specific goal and optimize for that goal. Super agents combine all of those agents together to work synchronously towards aligning a overarching goal for the company. And those goals are, from a business standpoint, are of course going to be, sales, margin, cost, etc., inventory turns, etc. From a customer standpoint, I think it's going to change. And from a customer standpoint, I think trust is going to become a very, very big KPI in the future. Whether the customers can trust you or not, have they had a good experience or a bad experience with an organization, in which case are they coming back to you or not, and so on and so forth. Senthil talked about dynamic pricing. I'm of the view that dynamic pricing is more of a fad versus real, for a very reason, and being in pricing for so long, for a very reason that it defeats the element of trust that the customer has on you. Because if you're changing prices if you are looking at a dynamic pricing, ESLs, I mean, that was one of the reasons perhaps ESL was not very successful, was because I'm looking at a product and the price was $10. Now it has seen that I have interest in that product, and the product goes up to $12. And I'm saying, what the hell is going on, right? You lose trust immediately. So having a very, very diligent KPI to track customer experience would be paramount. And to support that, the business KPIs, in order to, at the end of the day, business has to, run, right? So you have to make money at the end of the day. Optimizing for the business KPIs would come next. And thirdly, the optimizing for the technology KPIs and the tech stack would come below, right below that. That's how I think about it.
Great. Thank you. Thank you both. Those are great predictions, and we'll wait and see where it goes. I'm going to, with 10 minutes left, I'm going to take up the questions from the chat. So Nitin, are you keeping a tab on the questions? Let me look at it. Yeah, there I see it. So one of the questions, I think we covered this while starting omnichannel strategy. How do you decide which channels to prioritize, avoid implementation mistakes, and ensure that small to mid-sized retailers can compete with larger players in delivering a seamless customer experience? Anand, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I mean, we've already talked about it. My sense is do not prioritize channels at all. prioritize customer journey and customer friction pain points, solve for those, channels will come together to serve for those problem statements.
Okay. The next one maybe I'll take with Zendel. What role does AI play in predicting customer behavior across multiple channels?
I think it pretty much does everything, right? Once you feed the customer behavior, I think this is we're talking about predictive analysis, right? So being proactive on recommending the products or even just content. It could be product, could be content. Uh, Collecting the customer data, again, we keep going back to the same thing. I need customer data, not just what they have provided, and the ones I derive from their behavior as well. That's how I can build their profile to say, okay, when I come back next time, what is that's going to be interesting to me? So I think it's back to the point about you need to bring the customer data, implicit, explicit, any information about customer together to have that view of a customer, which will be used to drive any kind of recommendation. It's product, content, even some kind of we don't do a lot of, but a new brand is launching, right? Or a new merchandise type, a product type is launching. If I need to know that this customer is interested in this, they might not have explicitly told me that, but I should have collected that information based on their transaction history or the clickstream behavior online versus brick and mortar. That's what I'm going to be using to drive, and AI plays a very significant role of understanding the historical data and started predicting what the customer would be interested in.
I think I'll just add to it really quick, right? That, I mean, behavioral insights at scale in real time. That is what AI is going to, continue to solve for, in my mind, right? And I'll just take one very crisp example, right? That I got reminded of while Senthil was talking about it. So one of our SVPs on the digital side, Nilima, she gave us this example, right? And it is so true. When we were all growing up, right, in our years, we always used to have these mom and pop stores right around our corner. We would run to get like milk, bread, eggs, whatnot. Generally, you would go there. They would know you by name. They would know where do you live, which household do you own, who is in your home, what do you generally buy, what brands you buy, what is the type of product you buy, etc., etc. I feel like we are coming full circle wherein successful retailers would be one who can hyper personalize and personalize it to the level that while you're operating at scale hundreds of thousands of stores, you still know every customer and enough about their customer to be surfacing real insights to them on what is relevant in their context. I feel like that is the problem that I feel like retail has been trying to solve for a while, and it will get solved very soon.
No, I agree absolutely. Unifying customer data, unifying all the data for a hyper-personalized experience. I think that's where it is. We have two more questions. I'll go quickly. How do you align internal teams, address data silos across channels, and train staff to consistently deliver a seamless customer experience online and in store? I think we touched upon the latter part, but of course, aligning internal teams. That's.
I think I can go first on that one if you want. I think at the highest level, having a very clear vision and strategy of what the organization is going after. Every team has goals that should be aligning themselves to the organizational strategy. At Lowe's, we have, when Marvin came on board in, 2018, we started on the journey of total home strategy, right, about 6 years back. And our strategy is pretty simple. How do we serve our DIY customers during the week and the weekends? How do we win their weekends? How do we grow our small and medium-sized pro businesses? And everything that we do within Lowe's in all teams across the board, aligning to that Uber strategy at the end of the day. No initiative, gets prioritized unless there is a clear customer value and business value defined for them. And I feel like once you start to have that alignment tops down, automatically the teams that support those initiatives, start to activate themselves by some leading the way and some enabling the way. So no one comes in the way of each other really. Of course, I mean it sounds simpler than in real life, but I mean reality is that every organization is trying to solve that internal friction to make sure that they are optimizing their resources to drive real value.
Okay, so I think if I understood the question correctly, Monica, this is also about how the technology, because the strategy is, we need the strategy to be defined, but then when it gets to the execution, still there are silos within the teams on, because everybody's making certain decisions to achieve that goal, but the decisions are also made in silos of some part, because especially it's a larger organization, you have huge teams. So I would say to some extent we are kind of managing it through some kind of a governance. I know the word governance, some people feel like we are slowing things down, but I think having some kind of an architecture governance is how we achieve that. We call it as an architecture review board. So any programs, any initiative comes to that. Again, not every single thing we do, but critical enough to bring it to the table to talk about it. We talk about data. Data has become now as not an afterthought. A lot of times we talk about capability and the project, and data is like comes at the bottom. People start talking about reporting and data at the end of it. Now things have changed. It is as part of your initial scope. You're talking about how I'm going to measure it, not like after I deploy it and think about measuring it. So how do you bring that layer of governance with respect to data, and having data like an horizontal shared services that goes across business domains? I think it's helping, because now you have one arm that's going across. Again, this is not going to solve it. I don't think anybody can fully solve the silos with or as organization is growing. It is tough, but having some level of governance as helpless to, back to the point, am I doing the same thing in multiple solutions, multiple teams are doing the same thing? Am I thinking something completely opposite to the other idea of the other team is thinking with respect to how I define my schema for a data, for an example, right? So some of that is happening. I would say governance helps with it. It's very difficult to completely solve the problem, but I think having some level of governance and architecture component into it will minimize those silos.
Thank you, Sidil. I think the last question is futuristic, which was already covered in the webinar. So thank you both for your time. There was very interesting perspectives and insights. I learned a lot, and I'm sure the audience has benefited. I'm going to let Nitin hand over back to Nitin for his closing. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. You expertly moderated today's session, and we deeply appreciate the invaluable insights shared by our eminent speakers, Anant and Senthil. First of all, your willingness to collaborate and impart your knowledge to the larger crowd has greatly enriched our event. Thanks a lot for coming together. For those who missed the live webinar or want to revisit the discussion, the recording will be available soon on our company's YouTube channel. Just for your information, the event was also broadcasted live on LinkedIn Live for greater accessibility. Looking ahead, we are excited to explore the latest technological innovations throughout the year. And I know it keeps on changing. So keep looking out for our upcoming events, which will cover various sectors, which includes retail, banking, financial services, insurance, telecom, media, healthcare, supply chain, manufacturing, and much more. Stay updated with tech news, upcoming events, registration details by visiting our website or following us on our social media channel. Your engagement is invaluable, so please continue to interact with us and share our content within the network so that everybody will get to know about all these valuable sessions. We extend our heartfelt thanks to InfoVision, who is our knowledge and innovation partner for today. Discover more about groundbreaking tech solutions from their website, which is infovision.com. Thank you once again for your participation and support. We look forward to hosting much more insightful sessions as well. Wishing you all a wonderful day, a productive weekend, and a transformative year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.